I have not said anything about this tractor. I've actually owned it since October of 2017. It's now May of 2018. When I bought this machine, we're coming into winter, and literally after I picked it up, I threw it in the back of the shop. I drove it into the back of the shop, and I have done nothing with it since. It has been sitting that entire time. I went to go get it out the other day because I was ready to get the 140 out, and the 140 was parked behind this one. I checked the oil, one of the reasons that you always want to check the oil before you start it, and come to find out the oil actually has quite a bit of gas in it. Now, this machine is a 1967 110. You can tell that it doesn't look necessarily all that interesting. It's got non-OEM headlights on it. You know, the front tires are a little worn. They look original though. It has a bad oil leak, or I think it's an oil leak. The engine smokes. Somebody has repainted the deck wheels and the front wheels and then polished up the front caps there. The parts of the machine have been repainted. There's a crack in the hood right here. And then the seat mount has been painted black. Other parts of the machine have been painted. I think the fenders have been painted. It obviously had 2 taillights on it at some point in time. But what's really important is I'm the third owner, and I have the original purchase invoice for this machine, along with some of the original equipment that came with it. It did come with a blade that was purchased shortly after this machine was purchased. And it's a really nice, even though it's not completely original, it's very nice complement to my all-original 1967 110 hydraulic lift. I did a video on that a couple years ago. That is a tractor that I pulled out of Florida, as I'm going to try to kill myself. But I think this is a really nice addition to the collection. You know, I'm really happy with it. It does come with a blade, so that's both of my 1967 machines that have original paperwork have come with an attachment that is also serial matching, so that's kind of exciting to see. I have not done anything with this machine. I think I have ridden on it, driven it for maybe 5 minutes since I've owned it. I know the engine needs a rebuild, so that's probably what we'll do this summer, or what I'm going to do this summer. I've never rebuilt a K181. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've rebuilt a couple 14 horsepower Kohlers, but I've never rebuilt a K181. So that's probably what I'm going to do this summer. See what we end up with. I have not rebuilt a machine since I've lived where I live now, so I'll have to find a new place to do any engine work, things like that. Other than that, I think the first thing that I need to do is drop the oil out of it because of all the gas in the oil from sitting all winter. I think that's where I kind of started that story. So we're going to do a video on changing the oil. I don't think I've done a video on changing the oil. It's pretty simple. Drop the oil out of the bottom and fill it in the top. So I just use straight 30 weight oil, and we'll see exactly how bad it smokes once I get the oil changed. So we'll go ahead and pop the hood here so you can see the previous owner, or I think the original owner is the one that did it, repainted the gas tank, and I guess had new straps made for the gas tank. I'm not really sure there. It does turn over just fine, so no problems there, but it definitely needs to be cleaned up. I don't know what to do about the front tires. I really like the tires because they're original, but the front rims are absolutely hideous. Absolutely hideous. That yellow is not correct, and I don't like the shiny part. Same thing with the headlights. I'm not too excited about the headlights, but what's really important, and this is kind of a philosophy of collecting for me. What a previous owner's done to a machine is all part of the machine's history, so do I really want to correct it? I don't know. They're easy enough to take off. I actually have a pair of hood supports that can go in there. I also have a pair of fenders sitting right over there from that 112 that I took apart. I don't think I did much of that on video. But so, let me get the deck off of this thing, and we'll do an oil change. Alright, got the oil dropped out of it. Not really have much to say about dropping the oil out of a 110. Pretty easy, just a pipe plug on the bottom of the tractor on the 65 and newer, 63 and I guess it was 63 and 64. There'd be something on the front of the engine you'd take the grill out for. What I did want to comment on is the oil that came out of it. That is all the oil that came out, which is a lot of oil. I would say that this engine was probably 25% over full. Also identified that on the dipstick. But if you look at that, that does not have the correct properties, viscosity for 30 weight motor oil or whatever was in here, motor oil in general. So obviously there's a gas leak somewhere. Before I put new oil in it, I'm actually going to go ahead and go through, inspect the carburetor and everything. I think I have all the gaskets for that. I'll inspect the carburetor, make sure the float's working correctly, whatnot, and we will go from there. Also, while I'm at it, I've decided that I'm just going to go ahead and replace the uprights. I have a set of uprights for the hood support, or hood supports, whatever you want to call them. Get rid of those lights. The lights aren't necessarily tied into anything, I don't believe. Maybe they are. I was just looking at this switch right here. Let's see if this... Oh, the lights do work, so maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. Haven't decided yet. Normally I'm not a fan of taking lights off and stuff like that because it is the way it left it. I am going to replace the gas tank with the original one that I have. I think it looks a little bit better. As you can tell from my other videos, I am really not a fan with shiny paint, so I like original paint a lot better. So I've got an original floating around here somewhere. I'll find it and we'll get it installed and go from there. So I'll get the oil changed, I'll inspect the carburetor and everything, make sure the float's set right, and then we'll get this thing running this afternoon, get more oil in it and get it running, and should be good to go, and then we can kind of proceed from there. Really got to clean up the deck. Underneath this machine is just terribly oily, and so I really have to clean up. Sorry for the poor lighting there. It's just, it is windy today. I think right now the wind's blowing about 30 miles an hour. If you can hear it in the video, I'm pretty sure you can. But the entire underside of this machine is just completely caked in oil and grime and everything. So I'll have to go ahead and clean all that up. One thing I do want to do, or I will do this summer, is we'll rebuild the engine, hopefully, or I'll drop one of my replacement engines in there. I have a couple K181s just hanging out, and mow with this machine. We'll actually, I'll mow with this deck. It's got a dent in the front that right there that I'll have to get out. But we're gonna mow with it just because I haven't mowed with a 110 in about almost 2 years now. So yeah, I figure we'll mow a little section of the yard with the 110, compare it to the maybe 455, X748, 318, 1445, see how it mows. So anyway, I'll come back once I start it up, or if I have anything else interesting to say. Alright, well, so this unit actually runs and drives pretty well. I just took it around the yard. It's entirely too windy to take the camera outside, but I ran it for probably 20 minutes. Took a couple sticks to the burn pile, did a couple other things with it, and I really like it. Carburetor needs some adjustment, things like that. Variator needs some adjustment. The starter generator needs some new bearings, definitely got a wind to them. So this should be a fun summer kind of fix up. It'll take me probably most of the summer to get this project done. The engine does still smoke, so I'll pull the engine out probably sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It'll definitely be a slow process, that's for sure. But here, I'll fire it up. No choke or anything. And it runs pretty good. Needs some adjustment on the PTO mechanism, things like that. But overall, nice machine. I'm happy with it. The paperwork is what makes it for me. I think the only thing I'm going to do right now is, and it's without running this thing too long in the shop, even though the garage door is open. I think the only thing I'm going to do is change out the gas tank. I just don't like the shininess of the gas tank. I'm gonna have to see if I can find a set of, I think based on the type code it should actually have narrow rims. So I might swap those out here pretty quick. I think I have a set of original narrow rims. I'll have to dig around and see what I have. So yeah, pretty happy with it. We'll get it. It'll be a nice long-term project over the next year or so to get it back to normal, get it back to the way it's supposed to be. You know, replacing belts, getting the engine done, starter, generator, stuff like that. Obviously, I have a lot of projects going on, so I'm going to keep this thing whole as long as I feel like I need to. You know, over the next month or so, now that it's warm outside and I can open up the shop, don't have to keep my truck in the shop. I should make some progress on some of those longer term projects, like the 455 and the 318 there in the back. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this is a good long-term project, and stay tuned for the next video.